The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Bem-vindos para mais... Oh, I was going to do
one.
my Portuguese. Wrong one.
Wrong show.
Wrong show. Hi, we are back for one more show of the Table Topics, and I was going to just start on my Portuguese show that I do here with Linda, and that's Amigos, and you can watch that too. Do another promotion on our show. But we're back for one more show of the Table Topics with me, my host and co-host, John Sylvia. And John, we've been probably for the past two shows, we've been dedicating to something actually that you don't watch on the news, and you kind enough to bring that to the viewers of our show, and kind of show some images from channels that people can actually see it if they look for it. But last show, for those that didn't watch it, we talked about the news was people that trying to get some land,
South Africa,
get over
and
some land.
Just as a kind of update to that, probably about 3 days ago, they're having all these meetings across the country, but the Prime Minister Ramaphosa said, we're going to take the land. We are going to just go in and take the land. So a lot of people are upset. They're having these meetings because the Prime Minister already decided. So we'll see what's going to happen next. They're going to have a list of farms that they're going to go over and take over. A lot of people saying, no, don't do it because you're going to collapse the economy. But the Prime Minister's election year, 2019 is an election year for them. So, like anything, politics anywhere, I think they're trying to push to do something.
But I mean, the problem I saw with that, and there was a problem that we talked about it on the other show. It's not just a government. I don't see just a government problem there. I see a civic problem there. And the government is just putting more fire into this whole deal. Exactly. And now everybody's going to think that they have the right to go anywhere and take land. Matter of fact, we had mentioned this before on our show that could end up in a civic war.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. It could. And another update I'd seen over the weekend. There's an area called Stellenbosch, which is a really rich wine area, and I guess hundreds of people have just gone onto this wine farm and started staking out things again. So the government's not going to be able to control all those people. I mean, the police.
And how the government is going, where the government's going to draw the line, which one we going to pick and which one we're not going to touch. It's
interesting. I
think it's by the size of the land. It's by the last name of the owner.
There's no rhyme to reason yet, Carlos, as to what they're going to do. I have no idea what they're going to do. I mean, if anything, they got a really big wine economy there. It's not as big here, but I know in Europe it's pretty big there. So you're going to collapse that. It's just going to be a mess. So unfortunately, stay tuned. Hopefully, it's going to resolve itself.
Because one of the things that you mentioned to the last show was the fact that the money is not worth it much.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it isn't. I mean, and right after the Prime Minister came out with that, their money went down like 15, 20 cents to the dollar again. So it's even worth even less. But what's also a note was, I guess over the last 6 months, the people migrating out of there has more than doubled, they were saying. So there's no wonder. You know what I mean?
And it's amazing how some countries, the money, it's not really worth it much. It's somebody approached me last week for me to buy 60 pesos, I think. It's
okay.
from Mexico.
Yeah, yeah.
60. They
Yeah.
give me three $20 bills.
Yeah.
I was like, how much this is worth it? I have no idea even how
Probably
much
what,
this is
10
worth
to $12?
No,
No?
it's worth it it's worth it $7.
Oh, see, yeah. Yeah,
60 pesos.
Yeah, it's always
60.
been that way, yeah. Yeah,
It's like I'm like, why? A guy to buy a house, he needs a 50-pound
yeah.
bag,
Oh, yeah.
luggage bag to
Yeah.
to buy a house.
And that's how it is there. If I think like a $300,000 house to $400,000, our money is like $4 or $5 million of their money. So people aren't making $1 million a year. So it's just the whole thought
Another
of
thing
inflation.
another thing that I think that's kind of some states to states we have difference in value of the
Oh, yeah,
dollar.
absolutely.
You know, because when you watch these videos, houses for sale and stuff,
Yep.
and you watch this beautiful house with a pool and everything, it's worth it in here, $500,000 easy.
Yeah,
$500,000 they're trying to sell. They're having a hard time selling for 150.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, it depends
it's
where
like,
it is. You're right. It is.
and so even inside of our country, we have a difference of the dollar. So never mind, you know, countries like Mexico and the one that you're talking about. So, but and for today's show, we have
two areas that we're going to get into.
Okay.
And one of them is going to be, and you didn't really see this too much on the mainstream media, but there was this prayer group, soldier prayer group, and it's people that are out of the military, obviously, most of them. They were in Portland, Oregon, protesting. So the anti-protesters, which are Antifa, the anti-fascist unit or whatever, they wear all black normally, have their face covered, and they're usually very violent. And the mainstream media has not picked up on this one. And I got a short clip to play about this one, just to see.
Which media in America did you think you think this would fit on their news?
I think it would probably help. I don't know if it helped either, because really Fox or CNN, MSNBC, neither of them had this on. This was on like local TV stations out there that I saw this on through YouTube.
So it's like we have like the RTPI and
yeah, I think it would be local. It'd be like Channel 12 News would put that on here, but the national news are not putting that on there. And I'm not sure if they're trying to do it to quell it down and not show, but I think it goes to show that neither side is that good. But when one side goes and then the other side feels they have to protest, that creates a lot of problems. And that's been going on.
They probably, it's a mistake they're doing, because by the time they're going to start putting this on the news, going to be way too late. They're going to announce when people start killing each other. That's what's going to come on the news.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Well, I mean, even then, look what happened to the one in Boston, right? There was a protest or thing in Boston like this, and it just showed what some of the people were doing to the police officers there. So it's just interesting. We see that locally, and that was put on national coverage, but this was a smaller one, and it's older people. So I think they're going to be less violent toward the younger people. But it's just interesting to watch. It's only a 2-minute clip, but
okay, let's watch the first clip.
Portland police used flashbangs to break up a fight between members of Patriot Prayer and opposing protesters. The Patriot Prayer members were waiting to board a bus to return home. This day started with Patriot Prayer gathering at Terry Shrunk Plaza. The Federal Protective Service put up barricades and checked people as they entered the park. Across the street, a rally in opposition put on by Portland Labor Against Fascists. They were joined by members of Antifa. The two sides yelled at each other, separated by barricades and law enforcement. Among those were Patriot Prayer, the man known as Tiny, who left Portland just a couple of weeks ago. He has come back.
I made a promise to my family, my Patriot family, that I will come back and take a stand with them. I will not let them stand alone. And if I have to die next to my family, to my brothers and my sister that's standing up for freedom in America, I will have to.
Some people blocked the road in front of the Patriot Prayer rally. Federal detective officers told them to move on. When they didn't, they made an arrest. Finally, officers moved the barricades at Shrunk Plaza, and the rally went on the move. Violent confrontations began. Portland police revoked the rally permit.
This event has been determined to be a riot.
And declared it a riot.
I'm not trying to have a problem with you.
The march permit has been revoked.
They told everyone they needed to leave the area. It took time, but finally the crowd dispersed.
Everything was self-defense.
Both sides claiming they got their point across.
You're uninformed! Get a book!
Now, police used a lot of things to try to control the crowd. One of them, these rubber bullets that we found on the road after some of the confrontations. They also used some pepper spray and then some devices that have pepper spray inside them to try to control everyone. One Portland police officer was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. 4 other people had to go to the hospital as well. We're told that there were 4 arrests, and that includes Tiny. He was arrested on a warrant for something that happened earlier in the month of June. Back to you.
So does that look like that's the U.S.?
So, and where was that?
That was in Portland, Oregon. Portland, Oregon is like Seattle. It's a very, very liberal, progressive area. But you have folks that are conservative there too. That was a prayer group that was going to just say freedom of speech. And the group, the Antifa, which is called anti-fascist, which means basically they don't want like a fascist like Hitler or any of these people. But when these folks come out to try to give their freedom of speech and speak for their country, the anti-fascist people are telling them to keep quiet. Mm-hmm. So it's really interesting.
So when if you back up,
yeah,
when actually this started?
I think this started about 2 years ago.
Okay.
This stuff like this started about 2 years ago. That this has been going on. We had a rally in Boston. Remember a couple months, probably about 6 or 7 months ago, where people walked to Boston Common. It was going to be a conservative, or they call alt-right, which is there's not even an alt-left. So I really don't understand where that term came from. But alt-right group, conservative. They were going to have a rally in Boston, and they all backed out. And the Antifa and these groups come. So every time there's any kind of conservative group coming, the Antifa comes in.
Was this people getting along 2 years ago?
I don't think there was an issue 2 years ago with this. I really don't think there was really an issue. At least 2 years ago, no. I don't think there was much of an issue. I think that this Antifa group has come out of the last 2 years, and a lot of this is, I think they think the president's taking people's rights away, and that's what I hear with a lot of the people. They're taking people's rights away, and all right, I understand. You may think that. However, now you're taking someone else's rights away by not letting them speak. So, and this group Antifa is the same one that they're terrible to the cops. Half the time they're spitting at them and going on and on and on. So, yeah, we've definitely separated.
Yeah, what I'm seeing, and that's why I ask you that, and what I'm seeing since Donald Trump got in office was everybody had their own opinion, but they would keep it to themselves.
Yeah.
They will try to behave.
Yeah.
They will get alone next to somebody that didn't share their opinion.
Yeah.
And then I think that's when the people say the division, and that's when people say that the president supports the division.
Yeah.
It's when, and you remember that,
Oh, yeah.
Stop It? You remember that interview?
Yeah.
It was like it was like 1 month into office that he had an interview on CNN, I believe, that back when that he will go to CNN, and he said, stop it, like, that stop it don't have the power to stop it. Yeah. You cannot sit in a meeting and say stop it, and then go in front of 20,000 people and say, kick them out, or I will pay for the lawyer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You cannot do this, both things. That's when these people start seeing that they had the smoke.
Yeah.
If they have the smoke, we go to the smoke, we will get the fire.
I agree to a point, Carlos, but a lot of people that were going into those things were creating problems with the people that were there. So
And
they
it's
were going
bad
into
people
Trump's,
everywhere.
They were going into Trump's rallies to create problems, and they had shows on this and interviews on this that they were paying people to go in there to create havoc, so it makes the president, when he was being elected, look bad. So there's both sides to it. I understand, they shouldn't do that, but and this is only my personal opinion. We've been divided for the last 10 years.
I
really.
agreed.
It started with a lot.
If the groups exist, it's because the division was there.
Yeah.
That's number one. But the thing is, they were not voicing their voices on the open.
Correct.
They will voice their opinion, like between you and me, we will have a different opinion, but we will respect each other. But now that it's okay for us to fight.
Yeah.
Okay. Over our opinion. Yeah. I think that's when this whole thing starts.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's okay to fight about an opinion. I think when you have people in the media saying things like Bill Maher, for example, said on one of his shows, I hope this economy collapses because this is going to be the only way we're going to get rid of this president. When you say things like that, people that are stars in Hollywood say things like that, it doesn't help the situation. You know what I mean? And that's the people that are in power and these stars and all this, they are not helping the situation. People kind of look toward them. When they say these things, that does not help it. It makes it incites people more and more. That's my own opinion.
Yeah, but again, the groups were there.
Yeah.
The opinions were there.
Yeah.
They will just keep the opinions for themselves.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is with everything.
Yeah.
This is with everything. Different groups. Then came the Black Lives Matter, and then came the gay community matter. So these groups always existed.
Yeah.
But they kind of, keep themselves and fight discreet. But they will fight for their beliefs.
But if you look at it this way, Carlos, too, on the last 8 years, what did they have to complain about? Right? You know what I mean? They were getting there. You know what I mean? The groups were kind of, there was nothing being pressed against them. You know what I mean? All these different things were going on at the time. So there really wasn't, what's there to be friction about? You know what I mean? We're always going to have, the killings of cops.
Yeah.
We're always going to have stuff like that. But the media, I think, plays that up and puts that on there all the time. They're the ones that are placing that on there, videos of this, videos of that. I don't know. And I think maybe people are looking at things and they're saying, you know what, now we got to say what we think here. The flag is being very disrespected in this country. The flag is just being disrespected. And I was talking to somebody from the UK, and they said that started in the UK, where now you can't even really put a flag of Britain on your house or you get egged. They'll try tearing it off. That's what's starting to happen in this country, that people are not respecting the flag.
But for years, it was always a group out there trying to take the flag out of places.
Yeah.
This is nothing new. This is going on for decades.
But now these stars are saying that.
But now, like I said, now it's okay.
Yeah.
Because we got the support from the president, it's okay, we can do it. And when he comes around and he really don't tell people that's wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, and instead of saying people that's wrong, and he says, that's okay because I can do that too, and I have money to pay for my lawyers, and if you need a lawyer, I will pay for your lawyer. Just do what you need to do.
Yeah, I get it.
That's the wrong message.
That was overplay. However, the media never said anything about people paying people in there to start trouble. They were paying, some people were mentally ill, and they were saying, go in there, we're going to give you money, stop problems. There's this side, that side, and then there's the truth.
It's just, believe me, and then, like everything else, then we have now people just saying that they got raped. Now that they got molested, they got, I never saw
too.
nothing like this,
Yeah,
too.
me too, yeah.
You know, I mean, an old man, you know, that comes out and say, guess what? Grandpa was molested when he was 11 years old. I could not do that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I could not do
different.
that.
Everything's out now. I think with social
everything
media.
is okay now.
Yeah,
everything
exactly.
it's okay now.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
It is.
but we have
Yeah,
more.
we have more, so we're going to go to that. 'Cause this, and I think we probably beat that horse enough.
Let's see.
But what's going on now is there's a lot of migration into Europe like we have here. The only difference in Europe is they have the Mediterranean separating them. We have the desert and the border. But what's happened, especially in Italy, Italy has been under fire. A lot of these ships with the migrants have been coming over to Italy, and they can't. They don't have the resources to take in 40 and 50,000 people. So they've redirected the ships saying, you can't come in here. So it appears now what's been going on is they've been going into Spain. And we all know what's going to happen when migrants go into Spain, like when we had the last, they want to go to Germany, they want to go to the Netherlands, they want to go to, Sweden, Norway.
They got a hold of that passport.
Yeah, they
all set for a bunch of countries.
Yeah, they want to go to the rich countries. They don't want to stay in the southern countries. So the first clip that we have here is just showing folks in Spain on the is it called the Spanish Riviera? It's on the Mediterranean. People are just enjoying a nice day at the beach, and this is what happens. What a day at the beach, huh?
That poor guy had to sacrifice for all the others to run away.
Because I think they probably knocked him down. Doesn't it look like it?
No, it looks like he was stuck under the boat.
Oh, Joe, yeah, you're right. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah,
You're
because
right,
the boat, I see somebody in the water and the boats keep going
I
going
didn't
over.
notice that, but I did. Did you notice at the end there's a guy on the board there just pedaling along a day at the beach, and imagine being at Horseneck or beach in Fairhaven or toward the Cape, and then all of a sudden you're walking down and a boat just comes in and 20 or 30 people just jump off the boat. So that's not something we see on the news in America, huh?
No. At the news in America, we see the Mexican border.
We see the Mexican border, and we see some people come over. But what I find interesting is during the migrant. Remember, we had that big migrant crisis, not here but in Europe. And the American news, they would show families. But when you would watch the news over in Europe, it was all young men under 30 or 35 coming there. And they're leaving a civil war, they were saying. And this is my opinion only, again. You're leaving your family behind in a civil war to go to another country. I'm not going to leave my family behind. You know what I mean? They're either coming with me or I'm going to stick it out there, but I'm not leaving them behind. So I find that interesting. In this instance, it looked like it was all men again. Young men. I don't know, maybe they're going to send for people, but it's not like coming to America when you come from Europe or from South America that you send for people. It's a little bit different if you're in these war-torn countries. But I think coming out of Africa, a lot of that is economic. People coming in for the economics. Because there's no real wars other than Sudan right now in Africa. So I think that might be the issue with that.
But like you said, the Spain could be just the easy port for them.
Yeah.
But from Spain, they can go to Portugal, to France, to Italy, to Germany. You know, I mean, it's...
Look at during that migrant crisis, if you remember, right? People were coming in through Greece. That was the area. They were coming from Turkey over to Greece. And when they got to Greece, they didn't want to stay in Greece. Greece is a poor country. They wanted to go, if you listen to them, Germany most of the time, Norway, Denmark, Sweden, the richer countries there, the Netherlands or Holland, or even France. And the UK was another one, although, I mean, I don't know how great their economies are because they've really taken in a lot of migrants like Germany did. So with that, though, it's a little controversial, but with that, when you are bringing in 1 million people, like Germany did, first of all, you don't have the resources to house 1 million people. Can you imagine getting 1 million people in 6 months? What do you do with all those people? In America, what we do? We put them like they do at the south of the border. They put them in these little, I guess they call them detention centers or whatever. They detain them there, and then from there, after their court cases are held. But just, even if all those people stay in Germany, these places they have, can you imagine what that does to the infrastructure? Housing, jobs, just the local services, like, you know, trying to get people to learn the language, learn their customs. It's absolutely amazing, you know. And then you get people that say, hey, you know, their populations are declining. It isn't a bad thing. But then with that, their cultures start changing. It's not like the U.S. we're a melting pot. You're Portuguese in Portugal, you're Spanish in Spain, and you're British in Britain. But when you get a whole bunch of folks that are coming in, that does change your economy, your culture, and just absorbing all that into a country. It can be overwhelming, I'm sure. But the next, we're going to play one other clip because we're getting to the end here. This is basically the folks that were on boats, because this wasn't the only boat. This has happened continually. And I believe the day of this, there were 600 folks that had come over on the boats. And again, young men. They have 3 or 4 fences there.
That brings me back. You know, I remember to jump the fences, and it was to watch soccer games. You know, without paying for.
And you figure Spain, right? I mean, then when you get over, some people are coming through the beach. Obviously, they don't have fences on their beaches, but those are the areas that they come in. That
but the workforce over there. I mean, that people could build villages.
Oh yeah.
You know, they're all young and
they're
healthy.
all young. I mean, the thing is with some of that too, Carlos, is that the folks that are coming in there a lot of them are coming in through these places like Libya, Morocco, where some people are coming in as slaves there too. So we went really quick today.
Wow, another half an hour, and we will see you in 2 weeks with one more show of the Table Topics.
Have a good night.